Welcome everyone to that one time podcast. Thank you for joining us for another episode. Today, joining us, we have Solid Snarf
Hello, hello.
and we have the one and only Legend of Dre.
What's up? What's up?
And today we're going to be talking about a few topics, but I guess first we can talk about WrestleMania, Dre. What did you think of it? How did it go? Did it deliver?
WrestleMania always deliver. If I would rank it,
Does it?
I would give I
Does it
would give it
always deliver?
yeah, yeah. You really can't mess up a WrestleMania. Um a rating, I'll probably give it an A. That's somewhere between an 8.5 and a 9. Um
I don't know. You said, can you mess up WrestleMania? But they had Undertaker lose. That messed up a WrestleMania.
well, he was scheduled to lose. It was just he chose Brock Lesnar. We all chose somebody different.
Yeah.
So he was scheduled to lose. That the streak, he wanted the streak broken,
I'll never forgive
and he just
WWE for
chose.
that. I'll never
Yeah, he
forgive him.
he just chose Brock Lesnar. I
I mean, I'm not
guess.
mad who he lost to, but the streak, that was sacred. That was sacred. Some things are sacred.
Did he retire
True.
the next year after that, or
No, he came back. That's what
yeah?
really pissed me off.
I think he like retired like 2 years
Mm,
later, maybe. Not
they're
Yeah, I'm
sure.
like
probably setting it up. But this
that
WrestleMania,
should have right. After he lost, when he left his gloves and everything in the ring, that should have been the end of it. He should not have come back. They ruined it. Ruined it.
ruined.
Oh, sorry. Go
but
ahead, Trey. I went
but
off on a
but
tangent there.
speaking of the Undertaker, he was so every year the day before WrestleMania they do the Hall of Fame, and the Undertaker is now in the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
So ironic
so
that you brought that up.
right, right. At least they do it better than the NFL. You ain't gotta wait like 10 years before you get retired.
Yeah. Um, but speaking of legends coming back, what made this WrestleMania pop so much is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm,
He was supposed to come back um just for like a talk show that they be doing in wrestling now, and it turned into a match. For his very last match, that was one heck of a match. Like to the point I will go back and rewatch it.
yeah,
Um,
it looked good. I saw some clips. I didn't actually see the whole thing, but I just saw clips. It was legit,
yeah.
legit. Yeah. How long has he been gone? His
I
last
was gonna
match
say
was
he
like
He
like
his
it's been like
last
8 years,
decade.
10.
10, I think it was 10 years. He haven't wrestled for 10 years. And
Jeez.
Yeah.
and that's because of, the knee injuries and so forth. But
He have something with his neck too. That's what pushed him out, pushed him into retirement, right? Something with his neck.
was it his neck or his back? One of the two. So in wrestling, the main things that will retire a wrestler is neck injury, back injury, and knees.
Yeah,
Um,
gotta have
so
those.
it was either a neck or back injury. But he's been training, like he built a ring out in his ranch, and he's been training for like 2 years now.
Mm.
So he was waiting for a moment like this. So when Vince finally gave him that call, he was like, "Yeah, this is going to be in
Stay ready
Texas."
so you ain't gotta get ready, as engraven on YouTube would say.
You ain't even got to say another thing.
Right. This how you know your persona or your character is so great when you really think somebody talks like that. Like I really thought Stone Cold was like just a straight redneck, talk like that all the time. When I heard him actually talk like outside the ring, I was like, "Is that Stone? What? That's not him. That's not his voice."
I mean,
I was shocked. He's so
it's
like
kind of it's
proper
kind of
and
yeah, it's kind of
well
still
thought
there,
out.
but he leaves out the like the redneck portion of it.
Right. It's like
Um,
it's sometimes I wonder like do he just sometimes make a mistake and slip into character sometimes.
of course,
Because
of
I
course.
think it's like because he's non-confrontational in real life,
Mm.
or why would he be? What situation would he be in that he would need to be? He's like very
Like,
respectful otherwise.
like,
Right.
like he he's at a grocery store. He just fighting somebody with a shopping cart, and all some beers fly out of
Booker
nowhere.
T come out of nowhere. They start fighting in the grocery store.
Oh, what was it? Oh man, that was like one of my favorite moments. It was Booker T and Stone Cold in a supermarket, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
Because he's trying to get away from him. He walked back to back and he showed back up. He's like,
Yeah.
they, they fought all through that grocery store. Oh man, that was a good match. Oh man.
Yeah.
and what makes it even funny is that's not even the first time Stone Cold did that. He did that against Kurt Angle because I remember he took some milk and he chugged it and he talks some
And
yeah.
then he went, ah.
Oh
But
Man.
man.
but yeah, he fought on night one, and night one was pretty good. Bianca Belair regained her title, so that's two of the four horsewomen that she beat at WrestleMania. She got two more to go.
Mm.
Two of the
We
four
had
horsemen of what? I ain't watch wrestling so long.
oh yeah, so there are four horsewomen, and one of them, of course, is the child of Ric Flair.
Oh.
Oh,
So
I know who she is. Yeah,
yeah,
she's a beast.
yeah. So she beat Sasha Banks at her first WrestleMania to get the SmackDown title. Then she loses to Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. Yeah, at SummerSlam in like 8 seconds. Everybody hated that. Um, but they build up the story that she beat Becky at WrestleMania this year, and it was a real good match. So Sasha is 2-0 at WrestleMania with like potential best match of the event on day one. Um, Charlotte main event day one, and she won. Then the prodigy, Cody Rhodes came back from AEW, and he had a huge pop when he fought Seth Rollins because nobody knew who Seth Rollins was gonna fight. We had an idea, but they was like, "Nah, it won't be Cody."
Didn't
But
last time I was looking at some clips. I haven't really watched wrestling in years. But didn't Seth Rollins like he had cancer or something?
no, that's Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Okay, never
So
mind.
Seth
yeah,
Rollins
so
had something going on too. He stepped away for a little bit, didn't he? Or was it an
well, that's
injury?
no, no. Becky was pregnant. Him and
Oh, okay,
had
okay.
his child. Yeah. So he stepped away for a year, paternity leave basically.
A
And
year paternity leave, if only.
Gotta be nice.
right?
If only.
Only in wrestling.
Right.
Oh, what else? What else was a good match that night?
Did they ever hype? It was a a lady wrestler. She was undefeated in the under what do you call it? Not AEW. What do you call NXT? And then she finally came to WWE and they made her lose. What was her name? She's a Asian of Asian descent. Um,
How about Oscar?
yeah, Asuka. Did they ever do anything with her?
So yeah, Oscar was actually the Raw Women's champion,
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
she's been gone since last year and don't know why.
Dang.
Like no injury, no nothing of a child. Like I really don't know why she's been gone. So everybody's waiting for her to come back. Um,
Hmm.
and some other stuff happened on night one, but honestly, the biggest ones was Charlotte's match, Bianca's match, and Stone Cold pop up match. Night
Start
two,
splitting WrestleMania into 2 different days. Used to all be in one day. I know it's forever long.
yeah,
That's probably a good idea that they split it up because it used to
that is why
be it used to run from like 3 o'clock to almost midnight.
exactly, and that is why they broke it up into two nights. So a night two was just as good. You had Stone Cold popped out of nowhere again. um, you had Triple H message his retirement, so he left his boots on the mat.
Really?
That was very, yeah, that was,
Time. He been for a long time.
but also Triple H has a real serious health condition, like he's on a pacemaker.
Ooh.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
about that. Yep.
Yeah, so that's why he was forced to step away.
Mm.
Um, I mean, he's okay with it. I mean, he has no choice but to be, but you know, he's he seems all right with it.
All that protein.
Um,
Yeah, too high intensity. It's so many times he was like super shredded, and he got kind of like chunky, and super shredded,
Mm.
chunky, and
but but
all that no
also
neck syndrome, bad for the heart, man.
no, but what I found out, like he was talking to Steve A. Smith, and what and what I found out is if you're an athlete, if you played sports, your heart is your heart is actually bigger
Mm.
than like an average person because
It's
if
working
you
out
think
harder,
about it, yeah, that you pumping more oxygen, more blood in, so your heart is actually naturally
bigger is
bigger
working
than an
harder.
average.
Some people forget it's a muscle. At the end of the day, it works harder, gets
Right.
bigger.
So you think about wrestlers back in the steroid days. If you didn't take steroids to keep up, you had to do extra work. So, and like you said, Triple H was pretty much
He was on steroids. You could going back and look
he was
at it
killing.
when he was this dude had muscles on muscles, and then after he got hurt, he got it was his knee or something. I remember it was an injury he had
He tore his quad.
towards
Yeah.
quad. When he came back from that quad injury, he's a little chunky. I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, not like chunky as in like he got fat, but he lost all that muscle definition. He never got it back. And then I started thinking, I was like, you don't just lose it just like that. And I was like, oh, that was the steroids. That's what that was.
Yeah,
Vince,
yeah. So
everybody was on it.
Especially he's like old school, so it's like he didn't even
Mm-hmm.
know what he was putting in.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Um, but what else? What else? What else? Who else had a? Oh, so that the announcer Pat McAfee went up against Vince McMahon's protege, and that was actually pretty good. That was actually pretty good.
All the people, Pat
And
McAfee. That's funny.
yeah, and you know he used to be a punter in the NFL for the Colts. So, but it was actually pretty hype. Yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, they always do like celebrity matches. That was another thing. And day one, Logan Paul wrestled
Yeah.
with he
Did I
was
see that?
team with the Miz.
Uh,
Yeah,
Why is this dude everywhere?
he did pretty good. He did
Mm.
pretty good, but I think Bad Bunny did way better than him last year.
Was this
Um,
Ray's last match?
n- everybody thinks that, but no, Ray never wrestled a WrestleMania with his son. So his son been wrestling since I want to say 2019,
Yeah.
and this was his son's first WrestleMania. So that was big to him, to both of them actually. And right, and the Mysterios are the only family to wrestle tag team during a WrestleMania event. So that
Oh,
was
that's
pretty much a
nice.
historic event. Yeah.
That was nice.
So that was also a part of night one. But night two, yeah, you had Pat McAfee, Stone Cold stole the show again, and it ended with Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar to unify the titles.
Mm.
So
Who won?
Brock Lesnar, Brock Lesnar was is the
The
Brock
undisputed
Lesnar.
champion.
Yeah, he was the WWE undisputed reigning champion of Raw, and Roman is the universal undisputed champion. And yeah, she ready to go sleep.
That
Night night. But yeah, he was the undisputed SmackDown's reigning SmackDown champ. And Paul Heyman is his manager, Roman Reigns' manager.
He switched
really.
sides.
Yes.
He left
Yeah.
Brock.
Yep. And that storyline was actually pretty good. It was real good. But the match was going long. Brock put Roman in a Kimura lock and dislocated his shoulder. So they had to speed up the match. I think the match was supposed to go even longer, like maybe 15 more minutes. Um, but Roman beat Brock Lesnar clean. And I think the reason why he beat him clean was because of his dislocated shoulder. So after he won, like Paul Heyman was like, "You gonna have to pop your shoulder in. You know, you just can't go out with one arm in the air and the other one like limp."
Angling.
So, so he like as you see him lifting his arm, you can see him popping his shoulder back in just to raise the title. I was like,
Mm.
Dang.
Roman is Roman is the truth. And
Yeah.
and as I was telling people like getting back into wrestling, like Roman versus Brock Lesnar was our decade of The Rock versus Stone Cold.
And then a
So
Mm.
bunch of fights.
yeah, so that was pretty good because Roman has never beat Brock at a main event clean. Um, even when he started fighting solo after the whole Shield disband, so that was pretty good. That was pretty
That's
good.
nice, nice. That's pretty
So
good.
yeah,
Like it.
yeah.
I
So
said the only
WrestleMania.
thing that could make me more excited than seeing Stone Cold fight again if The Rock came back in there somehow.
Wait.
Oh, and and speaking of Vince McMahon, still is horrible selling the Stone Cold Stunner. Stone Cold hit Vince with that stunner, and it was just horrible. Vince was
Oh
stumbling,
my
hitting the
gosh.
Mm.
ropes.
Oh man, terrible.
But
Vince has always been
So
so
terrible at that.
Roman Reigns was the one that left because of health issues, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
Cancer, yep.
he had cancer, then he beat cancer and came back.
Okay. All
And
right.
that's when he won the title. After he came back.
Does he still come out in bulletproof vest?
No, no, he
Okay.
comes out in a t-shirt now.
Okay. Okay. Because I thought that was always a bit much.
But next year's WrestleMania is in Hollywood, so everybody's expecting.
Hulk
Dun,
Hogan.
dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun.
dun.
People don't want to see Hulk Hogan. People
Nah.
waiting to see you smell what the Rock. is. So
Yeah.
Oh man.
everybody think the Rock's gonna come to fight Roman for head of the family at
Oh man.
Hollywood.
I was watching a
So
clip the last time. I was watching a clip of Hulk Hogan and The Rock at a WrestleMania like 6 years ago. The Rock was so much smaller then. Yo, like
That's how you know people like, oh, they people drugs on steroids. It's like I don't think it was. He was smaller when he was wrestling than he is now. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean
he's a workout
now he
warrior.
could now I'm sure he is. But before like he was just a regular dude with a you know, he worked out good, but yeah, now he's just a monster.
He's a monster, but he's actually shown his workout lights, how he starts, how he ramps up. The dude eats like 40 something pancakes when he's like ramping up. I'm like, I don't know how he does it.
I think the pancakes are
so
on his off day.
Hmm.
Like on his off day,
yeah.
he binges like nothing, and it's like
So
that's not
so
sustainable.
to so the crazy thing about it is on my weight loss journey, my trainer told me in order for you to gain muscle and to lose weight, you have to eat. I kid you not. My breakfast, and this is nothing compared to World's Strongest Man or The Rock's breakfast. My breakfast was 4 egg whites with two whole eggs in it. So a total of pretty much 6 eggs, a protein shake
Jesus.
with oatmeal in it, um, and a grapefruit, half of a grapefruit. That was my breakfast, and I had to eat all of that.
Yeah.
Mm. I'd be sleep somewhere. Eating all
Boy,
that.
I was struggling. Like I never hated food so much in my life. I was just sitting there.
You know, you eat so much, you feel it in the back, you feel up here in your neck, just like feel like something's sitting on your neck. You're just like, oh my god, I'm so full. Oh man, shoot,
Carry me
I
out.
can't do
Carry
it.
me
Right,
out.
just carry me out. Don't worry
Like
about me.
I
I'll just stay right where I'm at.
so
Right
like
at
these
the
guys on
table.
the YouTube did like they stay with the world's strongest men, and like
Hmm.
they had like a whole family dinner size table for breakfast. It was like bacon, sausage, eggs, toast, bagels, and like they had to clean all of that before they can start their day. And I was like,
Mm,
Nope.
yo.
mandatory 3 hour sleep right after that. Mandatory would be knocked out. Jeez, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So transition from WrestleMania, we go from one of the greatest events held every year to an event that's not going to be held this year, and that is E3, the video game event each year. And so that I don't know about y'all, but it's always an event I wanted to go to as I was growing up because of
Yeah,
course we're all into video games. Like I want to go to that. I want to go to that.
Yeah,
And
right.
especially like I think it was like 2016 and 2018 when it was like really ramping up and they started letting the public in. And now it's pretty much dead. There this year's no digital showcase for it and there's no physical showcase for it. And they're like, we'll be back in 2023. And I'm like, no, you're not. Nobody's
yeah,
gonna
There you go.
pay. No company's gonna pay you to show off their stuff when they've proven during COVID that they can do it on their own terms any time of the year and be perfectly okay.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
not even that they prove that they can do it on their own. It's just like the last couple of years, or maybe ever since E3's been in existence, it's kind of like you need to be here. You got to pay us to be here to show off your stuff. Otherwise, you're fucking up. You're losing out. And they just been playing games with all these companies, Sony, Xbox, and all that. That even pre-COVID, leading up to it, it was people were backing out because
Yeah,
they were
Sony
like,
and Nintendo didn't go. At first, it was Nintendo because they did their Nintendo Directs.
yeah,
They would still have a Direct during the E3 showcase, but Sony just straight said, "Fuck y'all, we
hmm,
out. We're not even gonna have a showcase during y'all event. We'll just
hmm,"
do it whenever we want to." And
and then
But that's also another thing is you gotta think about when we was growing up and wanting to go to E3, social media, YouTube, Twitch, all this stuff
oh,
wasn't so high. So people I had to pay you just to get people to come see or get that TV time that
hmm
people
now
gonna see
shoot,
our games. Now it's like, man, forget that. We'll just go live on Twitch for about an hour, show off what we got in Twitch,
exactly.
and we done.
It'll be on YouTube and people can keep watching. Their reviews will rack up. Yeah, you're
Right.
right. It's
For
like
free.
the media outlet has changed drastically in the past. I'd say about 8 years for video games, especially. Before, if you were an indie developer or a smaller title, you needed E3 to get your news out there. Or even the big publishers, you needed E3 to get your news out there. Now, like you said, you can use Twitch, YouTube. Hell, PlayStation just be dropping blogs, and, and people be reading them and eating it up. I
speaking
mean,
speaking of those, did you see the IGN how they're hiring part timers for to cover their stories? So they're
no,
offering $20 a story.
$20 a
twenty
story.
dollars a story, $50 if it's a bigger story, and $300 if you cite resources, which is still like not
I
enough
mean,
to pay a reporter if you have to take a
exactly.
plane to talk to somebody. That's like $300. You can't cover that trip back. Like you stay there. Like, can I have my check so I can come home, please?
That's crazy. That is just
Yo,
that's
the whole thing. Oh shit! Can we pause here?
yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Sorry about that. uh, what was I saying? Yeah, they're charging, they're paying people like $20 to $50 to 300 plus to do these intricate stories on the higher end, and it's just like you can't even. So
That's
point being, just general news media, the game media is just like, what are you doing? Like, I don't trust you anymore for the ratings that you give for the games because I don't know.
yeah, you
It's
gotta find.
disappointing.
Yeah, I like the only ones I really like getting my news from now. It used to be IGN when I was younger, but I realize better now. I like watching kind of funny games, and
Mm,
a bunch of them came from IGN, so they know like that background. They're like there's a reason they all left and created their own content channel, and it's like IGN is they don't treat their people very good at all. It's like how do you $20, $50 for a story? Are you serious? You
it's
spend
Well,
how many hours and writing, and then that's all you want to charge somebody for? Come on, get out of here, man.
You,
That's
you ever see like when movies are made about like news reporters, they go deep undercover. It's really cool shit. They what do you call it? Sensation, not sensationalize, but make it really cool to be a reporter type shit. Um,
Hmm.
and it's just clearly to be a
you re-
reporter now, especially
you
in
really out there living like Peter Parker.
yeah, you're not though, right? You're there like whose work can I screw over? Whose work can I
Right.
do this? It's like, oh, this is a game. Oh, but I get a little paycheck from this guy, so it's gonna be an 8.5. Or worse yet, where we've heard from things in the past, I can't cite like I can't remember the exact thing, but it's like the reviewers are like holding these companies hostage. Says, it'll be favorable for you to give us early access to this game because A, B, and C. We rate this shit. What people think, what we say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how the YouTube machine is created too. You get that stuff out there. They push all that content out there for you. They're doing your marketing for you. You don't have to do all of it if they're doing it for you, and that's exactly what it is now. There's some good to it, and there's a lot of bad to it. It's
Yeah.
like it's better. It's better than how it used to be, where all you could get it through was either G4, IGN, or what was the other one? It wasn't Kotaku. Game Informer was the only way you was getting your news out of there, and everything was like so tight-lipped behind doors. And now it's way more open, and there's different stories all out there. But it's like you got so many different ways of acquiring that news now. So it's better, but they need to treat their journalists a lot better. They
it's
definitely.
it's a double edged sword because the actual journalists, their quality is diminishing in what they put out. But at the same time, like you said, everything's more open. Now every idiot has an opinion that they could get out there and everyone can see.
Right, that
I
is true.
understand. I understand what I just said. All right. I'm the idiot. All right.
We're not hypocrites. We know.
Yeah,
We
I
fully
know. I know
understand.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep. Oh
Yeah.
man, and well, like you said, we was talking about again, talking about how PlayStation pulled out A3 and kind of killed that, and now you have PlayStation trying to emulate their competitors' service. Well, I shouldn't say emulate because it's nothing like Game Pass. We all know Game Pass is a great service, but you also have to realize why did Xbox or Microsoft come up with that service to compete?
Yeah.
They cannot compete with Nintendo or Sony in exclusives. Just
I mean,
they have
yet bought
yet
so many
exactly yet
companies.
yeah yet. Granted, they've made a lot of progress in buying companies to get said content, but they're playing a content game. They're no longer playing an exclusive game. They know they said they can't compete in that field yet. And in order to get into that, you have to have a lot of skin in the game for a long time. Nintendo has that, Sony has that. Xbox doesn't have that yet. Their three biggest heavy hitters are Forza, Halo, Gears. They're bread and butter. That's like there's three bread and butters and that's it. Whereas you have Nintendo, I mean, God, who knows all the stuff you could pull out their vault that they literally have the 10 same characters. They redrop their games and change it up, and they sell big every single time.
Mario,
Every
Mario,
time.
Mario, 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 Mario. Too much?
Re-
Zelda, 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 Zelda. Too
exactly.
much? Actually, there's not enough Zelda. Yeah.
Metroid.
No, you know what? There's not enough Metroid or Zelda. All
It's
right.
not. Yeah,
I
Star
stand
Fox,
corrected.
Mario.
like Donkey Kong. Is they have so many. Nintendo has the opposite of a content issue. They have so much stuff, but they keep rehashing the same things
Well,
over and
I,
over and
I, I
over again.
think like I haven't owned a Switch yet. And it's just there's so many games out there that I want to play so bad because they're so damn good. They didn't focus on graphics or physics or whatever. They focus on gameplay, which is
Bread and butter.
it's crazy to say that
That's what we
the
want.
what do you call it? The surprise is that they focused on a gameplay instead of graphics and this and that. You know,
Mhm.
like it's a sad state of the world where games can't have good gameplay, but they can have exceptional graphics.
Right.
Yeah,
And it gets a pass. It's like Nintendo probably has the worst subscription service of the three services, that Nintendo Switch Online Pass. It's down like garbage. It's barely worth it. They just added the what is it, the online pass now, to where you can get some of the old N64 games and stuff like that on there, and
yeah.
they're slowly adding to that. It's terrible, it's laggy. They have the worst subscription service. Next would be PlayStation new tiered system. So they have
Mm,
there are three different tiers, which they have PlayStation Plus, which is the normal way most people have been paying for, $60 a year, right? Then they have the what is it, Essential? Oh, so Essential is PlayStation Plus. That's the regular everyone's been paying for, $60 a year. Then you have the Extra, which adds in a catalog of 400 PS4 and PS5 games, blockbuster hits. Not day one stuff like Xbox. So don't think you're getting that. And that is what that is $100 a year. And then you have the premium, which gives you PS4, PS5 games, PS2, PS3, and PSP stuff. And you
through streaming though, through
yeah, some
PlayStation
of them,
Now.
no, you can download the games, but I think some of it is streaming as well.
That's not what I heard.
Wait, cloud streaming access for originals. They did say this is some of them can be downloaded. I'm pretty sure none of them going to be PS3 though. You probably
Yeah,
won't be able to
none
download
of them are going to be
PS3.
PS3.
Mm-mm,
Like, yeah,
not
so that's what I'm saying. Um,
Probably the stuff that's like on the monthly free list is probably what you
yeah,
can download that they willing to give you.
You're probably able to download the PS4 games, the PSP games, some of the PS2 games, but definitely none of the PS3 stuff. That'll all be
yeah.
streaming,
It's
and
it's
that's
weird.
$120. And
So from the last time I looked, correct me if I'm wrong. But they're getting rid of PlayStation Now, and the only way to access the streaming service is through that PlayStation Premium.
yep, that is correct.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but that streaming service is trash.
Yeah, yeah, it has been for a while.
I don't know how you could charge something for something that just doesn't work. And clearly it's been ongoing, so somebody must be paying for it.
Yeah, there's some people out there. I mean,
I
it's
tried
just
it
like
out.
Nintendo. Sony has a lot of old games that are very, very good and very fun, and the only way to get them is through that. But a lot of people like, oh, they oh, we love Game Pass because you can play all these old titles. But it's like, do you really, be honest with yourself? Do you really go back and play with a lot of those old games? We know most of the market doesn't, because if that was the case, the consoles wouldn't be coming out every 7 to 10 years. They would wait even longer.
Right.
People, when the new console comes out, they hate when you can't play the old games, but then the sale numbers show you that people don't go back and play all the old stuff on the new consoles all the time. So it's
Yeah.
like, what do you want? Do you want to push the new stuff, or do you, want to stay with the old stuff? So I guess
Well,
with that's why they have these streaming services, so you can get that as well. But
I think the nudging force behind everybody getting butthurt for not being able to play old games is that they own the games
right, hmm,
and your system breaks down. It's designed to break down over time, and you have no way to play these games that you own. So it's like you just been asked out.
yep,
Now, in reality, you may not be going back to play those games, but it's the principle, I guess, of the matter. Like I have Game Pass. I played through all the Gears of Wars. I played through a bunch of old games. Um, but I also enjoy new games that come out. There's what's the game? I forgot the. It's about a fox and it's Legend of Zelda. But
Tunic,
Tunic. It's out on
yep,
Game Pass and playing the shit out of that. Um, and Microsoft did a real like
game changing move.
shady shade. I don't want to say shady thing, but a nefarious thing.
Hmm.
I don't even. It's not even that nefarious. I don't know. I don't know the correct wording. Um, where they put all these new games out day one, right? That's not sustainable for other companies. Like
No,
by
only
making
because they
that
got deep
move,
pockets.
yeah, by making that move, they put their weight behind all that. Like they
Hmm.
pulled from Windows 10 sales, they pulled from here, they pulled from here to make that happen. And from what I understand, Sony's position, like the way they explained it, was it's
It's not
not
sustainable.
feasible to put games out day one. It's just that's absolutely insane that
Yeah.
they do that. We can't do that,
Hmm.
and like I'm okay with
Would
that.
lose all their publishers. Yeah, they would lose. What makes Sony so good is their games.
Yeah,
If they did what Xbox did, they would lose all their publishers because they wouldn't be able to afford to pay them and keep growing them like they have been throughout the years. Like Spider-Man, Insomniac games, if they did what Xbox did, they probably wouldn't be around real long.
yeah,
But as you see what Sony's doing, they don't care about IP. They can always create IP. They're not worried about IP. They like talent. They like getting specific individuals that can create games, which is why they went prime example why they went and brought it was Haven Studios just recently. They haven't even
the
came out with a game.
is that the Activision?
No, Haven Studios is Jade Raymond. She helped
Oh, okay.
design Assassin's Creed. She worked for Ubisoft as well.
Mm.
She's been over the place. She worked for EA as well, but obviously she knows what she's doing because she's got a lot of people that came and went and worked for her and when she created her studio. They haven't even put out a game yet. Usually Sony they partner with a studio. They say, "Hey, can you create some stuff? We'll fund you." So they create stuff, fund you. You may do that for about well 3 years unless you do like make a real good hit, and then they say, "Hey, we're gonna buy you." Okay, they haven't even came out with a game yet. They pitched something to Sony. They said we like it, and 5 months later they said we like it so much we're gonna buy y'all. It's like
Damn.
that's unheard of. That's
Yeah.
that's
Mm.
unheard of. Like you don't. When's the last time somebody pitched you an idea? You say, you know what, I like it so much, I'm gonna write you a blank check, and here you go. You don't really
Yeah,
do
they better be making
So,
the next, I don't know, Spyro or something.
but so,
That's
so my thing is, when companies like game companies acquire studios,
Mhm.
what what does that consist of? Is it like I'm gonna buy you now? I'm gonna need something within 2 years, and you better not be
Right.
sleeping on the job, or is this like here I need something in 2 years? Just make sure it's a hit. You got it. Or are
Well,
they
I guess it
dogging? Are they
depends on the buyers. Like Xbox, before when they brought you, they would like expect, hey, we need you to put something out ASAP, which is why they when they had Bungie. Hey, we got you, Bungie. We love Halo, more Halo, more Halo. And then Bungie after a while was like, you know what? We're tired of doing Halo. We want to do something new. Nah, we
Yeah.
need more Halo. They said, all right,
Yeah,
we
that's
out.
what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said
So
we out.
it is like the dynamic of who's buying you because PlayStation, from what I understand through interviews, watching YouTube videos and all that, they're hands off but money in.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
Unless
Microsoft
you
is
screw up.
very micromanaging. Like you need to make the next thing that's going to sell, make us money, do this. So it's like one. It's weird too because like the cultural difference. Microsoft's an American company, Sony's a Japanese company. Japanese companies usually like to make everything their own and they really like to
Mhm.
micromanage, so like they don't use foreign technologies or whatever. Um which has been the complete opposite the case for Sony ever since they've been in games. They've been going with these publishers and they've been supporting talent,
Mm.
and it's like, yeah, everything's gonna work out. It's gonna be great. Now, uh, I'm not trying to um, diminish their evil
Oh no, they definitely
because,
got their evils.
yeah, first and foremost, they're a company they're there to make money. But the way they've been handling their game departments, it's um,
You look at it, that's their most one of their most successful pieces of their company is Sony Gaming. It might be their
I
most
think
profitable
is it?
division.
I thought that was
I
like the smallest part.
No, no, size wise, it's a small sport, but I think profit wise, it's like leading the company.
Really?
It overtook the camera I believe it overtook no, the camera
Oh,
division's number one in profitability. I think
because
gaming is number
Sony also owns
two.
a bunch of patents that they're just raking
Yeah,
money in. Like
and
Blu-ray
it's like
alone is, you know,
yes, a monster.
yeah,
And like you were saying about how they're very forward thinking, Nintendo's the exact opposite of that. They are a Japanese owned company, but they're like you said, they're very restrictive. They don't
yeah.
like bringing in outside help. They don't like asking for outside help. They do it their
They
way,
need it.
exactly in their way only.
Did
But
did
they
they
could
take
use with a
Mario
little
off
bit
of
of
mobile?
innovation. Yeah, did they take it?
Did
I
they
know
take?
it
I
came on
think they
there.
did. Yeah, they like did the mobile to get off their platforms, but I think they took it off. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that.
And it's like it's just I love the competition that's going between Microsoft and Sony, even if they're in like two different playing fields right now, but they're still competing against each other. It's a content war now, so they're like they need content to drive their services. So it's like, Microsoft has the shooters. They have now they own almost all the American RPG makers. So like if you want a good RPG, most likely you're gonna have to go dip your toes into the Xbox ecosystem to play
Yeah,
one. I mean, they got Bethesda, they got who was the other one that was Bethesda's competitor?
Obsidian,
Obsidian, yeah. And then they just got somebody else too. When they brought Activision, I can't remember the name of the
Blizzard,
studio.
Blizzard,
Was it
right?
Blizzard? Yeah, Blizzard. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Blizzard.
Blizzard. Yeah, they got Blizzard. So it's like if you want an RPG, most likely you have to go there, to get to work with that. And it's like, and shooters again, they own Call of Duty, so it's like you either got to go there or EA, and it's not much there. So it's like, where do you go? It's a content war. So if you want certain things, you got to go to certain places to get it. But what's interesting, Sony president just came out and said we are going to be making more acquisitions this year with an S,
Yeah,
and that was after they brought Haven. And so they said we will be looking to purchase more studios. So it's like, who could they possibly get? And the rumor is they have a very big acquisition they're going to announce. Like it's not a small studio; it's going to be something huge. Like they're saying, like on a level of like Ubisoft. Not saying they're going to acquire them, but it's going to be something like big like
by
that.
Konami. Give me Metal Gear.
Mhm.
Right. It's like give me something. Konami's just sitting on some good stuff. I don't
Doesn't
know what
Nintendo
they're
have
doing.
Metal Gear?
Who?
No, Konami. Konami is
Yeah.
still Metal Gear.
Oh,
Hmm.
so they just paid to use a character.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, because Konami is their the rest of their company is bigger than the gaming division. They're pachinko and they make medical devices and also
Fusion.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
They're
like they don't
huge company.
they don't give a shit.
That's so funny. A company made medical devices, but they also got a video game studio
Right. Two things that don't go hand in hand. But
Yeah,
at
another
all.
a studio that probably will end up purchasing Sony is Deviation Studios. Those are the guys
those
the
are the
two head
Activision dudes.
yeah, those are the guys from Treyarch and
Infinity
Infinity
Ward.
Ward.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
Infinity Ward. One created the zombie mode, and one was one of the main people responsible for Modern Warfare 2. So they created their own studio, and a lot of people from Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Raven, they all left to join that company, and they're working on a huge shooter right now that's going to be exclusive to Sony. And they recently got their office built, and they're opening up a second office in Canada. And it's like, hold up, who has the money to open up a studio and then you open up a second studio in Canada? Who's bankrolling this operation?
No, how do you
It's got
have
to
that
be
money with
Sony.
no product?
Exactly. Again, that's like it's going to be Sony. Sony's going to purchase them because what is something that Sony lacks? A shooter. They have no shooter. They don't.
And since Call of Duties with Microsoft,
Hmm.
they
They're
need
not
some type
going.
of comp.
Yeah, they're not going to keep dipping their toes in that bucket if they don't have to. Just like what we're essentially putting money in their pocket every time somebody's on PSN buying that game.
Yeah,
So it's like we're gonna need something to compete with that.
there was something you said before about PlayStation and how they can't sell their games day one because it would make their what Sony's the publisher. What's the
Yeah,
studio?
the
Their
studios.
studios like make them
Bankroll.
mad.
Hmm.
Um, I guess buying the studio just goes over that problem. You know, so I guess Microsoft can do all that stuff because they own whatever they're
Yeah.
putting out.
Yeah, yeah, they can bankroll that operation,
Mm,
but the difference is studios usually put out the product and they make the company money. But if you are saying, "Hey, we're putting your thing out there day one," and that's a huge chunk of sales gone, it's like you got to have the deep pockets to keep funding that studio. And you're like, "Hey, we're not missing anything by people not buying, the games since they all got Game Pass. They're going more of a subscription model like Netflix. Netflix was in the red for how long? Before they
yeah,
actually start, making money, and they start losing money recently because they're pumping out all these movies and content, but they're starting to get back into the green again. So it's like that's gonna be Xbox model moving forward. You're gonna need that premium content. Call of Duty alone is gonna put them in the green.
yeah,
Call of Duty alone is gonna put them in the green. So I mean, I can't imagine. I mean,
yeah,
I'm actually excited because Call of Duty come out every year was getting stale,
yeah.
and
The
they weren't
the
given enough
diminishing
time to
returns.
breathe. Yep. And so with them buying it, and they actually said for the first time in I think like 12 years, there won't be a new Call of Duty in 2023. Good. And
Yeah.
so that means Modern Warfare 2, the new Modern Warfare 2 is going to be coming out this year, and the new Warzone 2 is going to be coming out this year. So it'll have almost like a 2-year window to just breathe and keep adding to that product. And how much you want to bet this is probably going to be one of the best ones of all time?
Oh, I mean, the last Call of Duty that I enjoyed was the remake, the Modern Warfare
Modern
remake. It
Warfare.
was
Right. Yep, 2019. Yep, same here. Excellent game. And what happened? The Warzone came out. It was great. And then as soon as was it Black Ops? No, Black
Black
Ops
Ops
came out.
3.
Yeah,
No,
and they
Black Ops
said,
Cold War.
"Oh,
Cold War.
yeah, Black Ops Cold War came out." They said, "Hey, yeah, you gotta buy this game in order to keep up with the
Now you
Warzone." And
just
then,
gotta smash them together and hope they hit.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. And Warzone start going downhill after that, and so did Call of Duty. So it's like, hopefully, and they have the talent there under Microsoft to properly manage that product. So that's gonna be amazing to see. So excited to see that. That'll be dope to
Yeah.
see.
Just that Sony subscription model is like
Trash.
I know they're working on their streaming service because
Hmm.
I think maybe 2 years ago. When were we talking about? Was it last year or the year before? Um, where they were buying up all these infrastructure places to work on their United States network.
Hmm.
So I assumed that was to help their streaming service, but it's just if it's too soon to announce that you're offering a product that is very very bad. Like I'm telling my opinion, but I don't see any bright side to this. That you're offering a product at $100 and something a year that is very very bad. Like
Now it's not worked very
fix it
well.
first. Like maybe they have plans to fix it, and they're like, oh, you'll see, but don't announce that. Don't
Yeah, yeah.
wait.
I can't imagine that it will be exact same as PS Now as it is currently. It can't. I hope it isn't because that's just gonna be trash. Like I said, that's gonna be a slap in the face.
Yeah,
Because PS Now is not very good streaming wise. It's horrible. It's good if you download it, but streaming wise, that stuff is
and
terrible.
there's a way that they can sweeten their pot to rival Microsoft. They throw in Funimation Crunchyroll.
Ooh, yeah,
They
if
own
they
it
did
now.
that, mm-hmm.
Like that. That's like if you bundle that in with my PlayStation, I'll use
Yep,
it.
definitely would. If they put that in the second tier, they'd be like, hey, you get free access to Funimation and Crunchyroll. Well, they finally condensed those two. They're starting to condense those two into one now.
I
You can
think there's
watch.
an actual date out. I forgot what the date is
Yeah.
because they
So if
used to
they
be condensed. You used to be able to get them on OVA,
VRV.
VRV.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's gonna be if they offered that, I'd be all in because they own the anime market right now. And if you look at it, you own Funimation and Crunchyroll. Who's your competitor?
Netflix.
Maybe,
Netflix is trying.
maybe.
Netflix is trying. They're
It
putting out some quality stuff.
they did
But
they are
also
they are.
not quality stuff. Yeah.
you gotta have your bad stuff with your good stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this content war as it's becoming is gonna be going forward. So
Yeah, we're not even talking about systems anymore.
mm,
Talking about subscriptions. What
yep,
subscriptions are you gonna put on?
exactly. It's no longer about the system; it's about the subscription models. And
Shoot,
so I
that's life
guess
in general.
yeah,
There's no more
exactly
cable, it's subscription. There's
Yeah.
no more going to the movies for some things, it's subscription.
right.
I wouldn't have cable if, the grandmother didn't watch cable, I
I ain't
have
had
I
cable
haven't watched cable in like 12 years.
yeah, I haven't had cable in about 10 years now. Once I pulled that plug, that was it. I was
Freedom.
like, I ain't
I can
going back.
I can choose what I watch and when I want to watch
Although
it. That's crazy.
Although if you add up all your streaming services together, you're probably paying around the same price you are for cable, but you get
Or
to
a
pick
tad
and
bit more.
choose what you want to
Yeah.
watch and when you want to watch it.
That's
You're
why
not
we got
constrained.
friends. We pool our resources.
Hmm hmm
Except for Netflix because they want to be dicks about it.
Assholes. It's called
Netflix.
family plans. Even Xbox knows. Look, they're about to add a family plan to their Xbox Gold, Xbox Game Pass. They're
Mm.
adding a family plan to it, so you can have up to 5 accounts on there. There's like it won't be this. What is this? $60 a year for Game Pass. They say it won't be like 60 times five. It's gonna be way less than that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look at it. Even they know Netflix. Instead of limiting people, just offer a family account plan that gives you up to 5 different accounts.
And I think
Stop.
I think the way it works is on the console you can have 5 accounts linked to it, but you can't have like multiple consoles
Logged into
with
them.
5 different accounts.
Right. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. If Netflix said, hey, we're gonna give you 5 IP addresses, and those 5 IP addresses can have as many devices logged in as they want, but you can only these 5 IP addresses can use it. I'm fine with that.
Mm.
Like, but for you to say, hey, if you aren't in the same household, then you can't have the same account. You're just that's stupid. Like you have families that don't live together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, who are you gonna hire? Who are you to say that we can't watch content together or share or whatever? That's stupid. That's stupid. Almost as stupid as Morbius.
Oh my god, why'd you say that name?
Sorry, Sony. You're terrible. You're terrible.
Oh man.
That
So,
movie is
n-
terrible.
not to go in even harder on Sony, but Morbius is a Sony Marvel movie, right? Not in the way that Spider-Man is a Sony Marvel movie. It's has nothing to do with Disney.
Kevin Feige is not attached to Morbius.
Okay.
That means it's trash.
Yeah, so clearly there's a divide here. I'm done watching Sony Marvel movies. Jared Leto
Strikes
like
out again.
I don't think it's his fault. I don't think it's his fault.
I don't know.
Um
2 strikes. He's got 2 strikes now.
but it's just like when you get offered the role of Joker and then you're taken out of the movie like 90% of your shots are taken out of the movie.
Sure.
Like, is it your fault? Is it your fault? It was a bad rendition of
Yeah, I
Joker.
don't blame him there. So that wasn't his
Yeah.
fault. But then you have Morbius. His stuff wasn't cut. You're part of that failure.
But was
Now
it
you
the
got two
writing? Maybe
strikes.
it was the writing. Maybe it was the writing. Like
I don't know.
Jared
He showed up
Leto's
twice and it was
look,
terrible. I gotta start thinking he's got something to do with it. I don't
listen,
know.
listen, he's a very pretty man, all right? But apparently he's a cult leader and he's like,
Yo, I saw
you
that.
saw that? A reporter went
Yo.
up to him and he says, this kind of looks like a cult. He says, yes, I'm a cult leader. I'm leading this cult. And he has retreats
Oh.
for all of his fans because he's also like a big music star.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if you listen to his stuff.
Okay, Jared Leto.
Yeah,
Wow. All right.
he's an
Hmm.
eccentric. He's
Cults are never
eccentric.
good. Cults are never good. I don't think there's ever been a good cult. Somebody can prove me wrong, but I don't think there's ever been a good one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe
But
cult of personality, but no, that was a song. I'm just kidding.
yeah.
I don't
So
think there's ever been a good cult. Don't think so. Don't
apparently
think so.
what happened, there was people were going to see the movie. They were hyping it up because in the trailers there were all these actual Marvel references, and like before the movie shipped, they digitally removed everything, like everything that was Marvel Disney related.
Gotcha.
Um, and in the end, should I talk spoilers?
Go ahead.
All
Yeah,
right,
go ahead.
spoilers. End credit scene. The Vulture from Spider-Man: Homecoming, Michael Keaton, comes out, says, "Hey, I'm not from this universe." Thinks it has something to do with Spider-Man. You and I should stick together. I know some other friends that can do the same. And Morbius is like, "Yeah, that's it." like, like there was that. Uh, I'm paraphrasing, but not by a lot.
Yeah.
But not by a lot. It was
He's
so
he's poofed out of
succinct.
jail from Spider-Man's universe, poofs into jail into Morbius universe, somehow gets out, finds his suit, and then finds Morbius. How? How did you find all this after escaping jail in the new universe? How did you get your suit so fast? I
I
don't.
don't. I don't.
Questions that need answers. Don't
I
know.
don't.
Unless Sony plans to do a crossover with Marvel every so often and interact, that's the only way I can see this being a success.
I
Otherwise,
think.
it's a
I
failure.
think this is the divergence. This is the Sony cinematic Marvel
Mm,
universe, and then
mm.
you have the Disney Marvel universe. That's
I,
like,
I don't see how you have a Sinister Six without Spider-Man. Who are they gonna fight?
why can't they have Spider-Man though? Sony owns Spider-Man.
Sure, they just won't. Well, could they? Yeah, they could use
Yeah, they can just be like, "All right, Disney, Tom Holland's mine now."
Right. I think if they be smart, they should use Miles Morales. Leave.
Agree.
I'll keep wanting to say Tobey Maguire. You leave Tom Holland
Yeah,
alone, make you a Miles Morales, and then have him jump over every so often to help out Tom Holland.
yeah. But the thing
That's the
is,
only way they can save their product. Sony can.
it seems like I don't, I'm not privy on the way the machine works, or how their minds work, but it just seems like everything is lackluster. They put it out just to hold on to their
Property.
copyright,
Hmm.
intellectual property, and it's just like, if you're gonna do that, could you just tell me, like, just tell me so I don't get my hopes up. Like,
Right.
that's it. That's it's just, you get the hype and then you get the fall, and it's just like, I want a good Venom movie. I want a good Spider-Man movie. I like comics. I like comic book movies, even though, some people flip their nose up at them. And it's like, I like what I like. So just tell me when you're trying to get money from me. That's it.
Supposedly their next movie is gonna be Craven. It sounds very interesting, but again, without Spider-Man, who's Craven fighting? Does it really matter?
I wouldn't even know. I think Craven. What's the? She has white hair and she was like a director of Shield.
Black Cat? No.
No, not director of Shield. Um,
She's an
Oh,
agent. What'd you say, Joy?
talk about Agent Carter.
No,
no,
no, no, no.
she was in the Insomniac game.
Yeah, what is it? It's not Sable Black Cat.
Saber, white saber,
What's her name?
silver sable,
Silver. There you go. There it is.
silver
Yep, yep,
sable.
yep, yep,
Yeah, yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
I heard that's the only connection to Craven that I can think of at the moment, unless they do Daredevil. But Daredevil, no, Daredevil is not Sony. Daredevil is Disney.
Yep. Mouse under
Yeah,
the mouse
I
house.
I, I can't think of how they're gonna do Craven unless it's just Craven.
Yeah. Now, like I said, the only way I think they can do it is if they cross over with Marvel every so often, which would be amazing if they could do that. If they get
As
out
long
of
as
their
they're
own
hands
way.
off.
Yeah. As long as their hands off, right? So
But
it.
but somebody said during Spider Man they saw Craven within the
Yeah,
time break.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
you did see him, which makes me think maybe they're planting the seeds like, hey, we'll be able to now. Maybe Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness is going to introduce, well, hey, sometimes these guys can pop up, and if they do that, like I said, it'll be a great idea. But if not, mm, this
yeah.
is going to be a disaster. It's going to be a flat
It,
out disaster.
I don't- it's we just wait and see. Speaking of Disney and Marvel, and no longer Sony. Let's get off Sony. Sony leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Moon Knight. Moon Knight. Can we talk about Moon Knight? Has anybody seen Moon Knight?
I have not started watching yet, but I'm very excited to. I want to wait till at least they get 3 to 4 episodes out, so that way by the time I get close to watching it, I don't have to wait too long to finish it. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you could talk about it. You could talk about it.
It's cool. It's cool. Funny. It's fast. Like maybe the pacing is too fast, but also it feels right for what's going on because he has multiple personality. So it jumps from one to another to another to another to another, and he's like he doesn't know what his other half is doing, and he's just getting privy to this information. Just
which
maybe
is
it's going too
fu-
fast.
which is funny because all the other TV shows are like, oh, it's too slow. They need to speed it up like the movies. And it's like, okay, here you go. Turn water hose full blast.
Yeah, 2 episodes in, I'm pleased. I'm happy. I think Moon Knight is fucking cool. Like as the cool factor, I didn't know. I didn't know much about Moon Knight before the TV show. It's just he has a cool costume, and there's another costume that shows up, and I think that one is even cooler. It's just the cool factor is off the charts. Like
Where do you
Batman
think it?
cool.
Where are you gonna rank it? So when we did our previous episode, we ranked like the Marvel TV shows. Where do you think ultimately it's gonna slide in as far as that?
So far. It's not a grandiose thing. It's more like knuckles to the
Right.
wall. It's
So it's closer to Falcon and Winter Soldier than anything else.
yeah, but even Falcon and Winter Soldier, they were pulling off a bunch of crazy shit. This is more gritty, a little bit.
Okay.
A lot more character acting, maybe.
All right.
Um, yeah, it's a different. There's hero stuff in it, but it's definitely less over the top hero backflips and
Wonder
all that.
is this gonna be the first Marvel product we had in a while that's its own self-contained story. It's not connecting to any of the other larger Marvel properties.
So far, could be. Well, it's
Because I don't see how Moon Knight fits into any of the other heroes or how he would even be any help to any of them.
so. Oh, that's interesting. Do you mind spoilers?
Go ahead.
All right, so Moon Knight gets his powers from the moon god of ancient Egypt.
Mhm.
And the main bad guy is a former Moon Knight, a former um, representative of this god. And there's another god that wants like to punish people before they do any of their actions. So that's the dichotomy right now. The main bad guy is working for another god, and Moon Knight's working for this god. So introducing gods. The only connection I can make is the Eternals were considered gods.
Right, right.
Wasn't
But even
Athena's god of Greece, and
right, right, right.
so
But even then, it's just because they were alive for so long, people just came up with stories about them, and
yeah.
you
So
know,
how are these gods are clearly different because they can't manifest themselves in the physical world, so
exactly.
they can only hire proxy and give them powers. So like, it's definitely more mystical than
Mhm.
science based. Like Eternals, they're machines created by
Right.
these things,
It's more leaning more towards Doctor Strange side of the house, where it's all mystical arts. Like it's
or like Blade vampires and all that
mm,
stuff. So yeah, okay. I don't know where it's gonna go. Like it's too early. It's too early to see the lines, connect the dots. Well, for me anyway, but I'm simple.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. I know one thing. I can't wait till Multiverse of Madness count down the days for that. When does that come out?
I don't know.
Is it pretty much? We're in April now. Is it May?
Madness. Well, 2022. May 6th.
Ah, so we're less than a month away. Yes, can't wait to see that.
Yeah,
I will attempt to go see that in opening weekend. Probably not opening night, but I will probably go see that by opening weekend for sure.
that'll probably be like the one where everything converges,
Mhm.
where you have a clear line of sight to where the future is going.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Yep. So, with that, everyone, we're going to go ahead and close out our episode. We know we've been stretching out of episodes here. We've been all having a lot of life stuff going on, new babies popping out
All
left
at
and right.
once. All
We're
at
gonna get
once.
back on it, people. We promise we're gonna get back to putting out our content. We just have, as they say in Jurassic Park, life happens,
Yes.
and life will find a way. But we will continue to pump out the content. We'll pick back up on it. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time.
Deuces.